Alright, YouTube land. This is Adam Niffen, Smith Welding Restoration. The one car we fixed the other day, the rear quarters, I got to buff out this side. He brought it back, paid us to buff it out, which it needed, cleaned up and buffed. And
this is your
window regulator. This is the motor. So where it plugs in, they left at the boneyard, they left the plug for us, which is always nice because if they break that, they've ruined the part. So if they cut it back here, they're not liable. That's actually why they leave a lot of those plug-ins. Now there's nothing wrong with used parts. Don't get me wrong on that. But what you want to find out is this here. Just a little cable, a chintzy cable drive. You got the little piece of plastic right there that you've really got to. There we go. That's more comfy for me. Got a little piece of plastic right there. Then on this end, you got more plastic pieces. There, around here. And this cable travels along that, obviously. In and out, so forth and so on. Boneyard parts. Just is. There's nothing wrong with it. Let's get this door panel off. To get this door panel off, first you get your window up. Alright, you get the window up. And this one I've got up and I got it taped. Just tape it over. There was a hat in there holding it up. Then next you need a toolkit, or at least basic tools. My panel popper, I use this motherfucker for everything. And then past that, I've got one of these. I paid the money for it. It just is. But as you can see, it's got everything. I got Torx, Phillips, flats, standard end metric, all shallow wall, 1/4 inch drive. I use this to take apart most of these modern cars. And then in turn I use this kit for carburetor rebuilds. So this thing is every penny worth its money to me. Most folks I wouldn't suggest it. $150 for a little 1/4 inch drive box isn't worth for most people's garage. But everybody's saying my favorite tool and whatnot. Man, it's not a tool, but it's one kit, and that right there is my go-to. I don't know if it's particularly my favorite, but that's a go-to right there every time. I look at something, take something apart, I just grab the kit and go. Alright, so we got some screws to deal with here. You're gonna have this to deal with, this to deal with. We gotta get this door panel off of here. So probably what I'm gonna do is set you up on a tripod, let you watch. Alright, I'm gonna end up playing this in like 4 or 5 times forward. So I'm not gonna do any real talking, I'm just gonna show. Alright, I'm going to kind of pause here. There are little pins inside there. You can pull it out and you can find them without breaking anything, but you really want to get that groove, that notch over that pin, pry against it. Pry next to it, you break the pin or pop the door panel off the pin. Which does very little to positively affect the outcome of your situation. For the hidden shit. Two right here that are hidden. See that? Oh, sometimes. But I'm also talking to the camera. You don't need the benefit of this. I already know. You know what the fuck you're doing. Alright folks, this is kind of fun. Check this out. I don't even know how they got it in there, let alone how many get it out. If you can't see that, well, here, I'll move this out of here. I don't know what the fuck they were doing, or how they thought that would affect a positive change in their outcome.
Held the window up, dude.
No, it didn't. Okay. These two bolts, this bolt, these 3 bolts. That should be pretty much it. Alright, we got an inspection window right here. They always give you something to work with. With bolts on the and scratch. Little 10mm bolts hold this together. We slide it down to these inspection peekaboos, and then I'll get the tape out again.
I use it as a wedge.
I'll get the tape out again and just hold it up. More or less. That way, when you put the new one in, I can slide it up in place, ease it back down appropriately. There we go. Okay, I got all the bolts out, and now we start the fishing expedition. What do you think? I think it's shot, folks. It might be broken. If it comes out in 6 pieces, it might be broken. Some mechanics really get mad at used parts and customers that bring them in, but you know, we restore cars. All we get are used parts. I let that hang on there. I could have put those bolts in ahead of time. I finally get in my way. They snag up on shit I don't want to do.
Installation.
This thing's been a mess. It is a mess. It's been apart more than a couple times. We're just interested in getting everything pulled back through and stuck basically where it belongs. It doesn't even have to be perfect. It's got to be basically where it belongs. Because it's fucked up already. This door will be fine. I don't even know anybody was in it. Other than all the screws that were missing before we got to it. You got little clips. It sits down on top. Now, a lot of modern doors, a lot of new doors, especially on the boards, it's just a series of grooves. You don't go pulling these fucking panels off. You gotta pop them up. You get all the screws out and pop them up.
They pop up like this one does. Here, too far forward. Oop, lift up. You got the center one here now. Take the lower part of the door panel out, pull it out. From the, yeah, there you go. You're going to pull it straight out and then push down up here. Out here and then down. Unless you got it right.
All right, there's that screw that goes there. All the rest of the screws in this thing are missing. Is 1, 2, 3 more screws that go into this than what I've got. They had already been removed. Whoever put the 2x4 blocks to try to block the window up must have removed those. I ain't saying nothing about nothing. We do what we have to get by. I've left customers that were unable to pay for this exact repair with a pair of my Harbor Freight, I don't know, $2 vice grips, little needle-nose vice grips in their car. I got everything together, I pinched everything up so the window stayed up and bid them adieu. I've done that, I did that a few times when I was doing service work, and honestly I only lost one pair of needle nose over that. Usually they get the money together and come back. They're just so grateful that for 25 bucks they can get their window in place until they can afford to fix it. It beats the shit out of duct tape. Now, this isn't mysterious or wonderful or amazing. It's just cars. It's post-industrial. You want to do something hard? Fabricate shit. Build a house. Carpenters deal with pre-industrial revolution conditions. You've got the puzzle box. Then you've got the picture on the puzzle box. The puzzle box is full of nothing but square material. And you've got to build the round shit out of that. You make your pieces as you go along. Cars, anymore, a mechanic's job is find that part, pull the new part out of the box, and go searching.
Part chamber.
Yeah,
This is part changers.
it's changing parts. And I'm not saying anything a mechanic. It's a pretty fucking brutal job physically. Not as brutal as say framing houses. And I've got experience in both those avenues, so I can openly say that. But it's physically a pretty brutal job. And you gotta have a head about you. You gotta know some shit. But you know, service work's not for me. I want to create something. Not just swap plugs and screws. That in a nutshell, my friends, is your window regulator repair 2002 Impala. It doesn't matter if it's a 2005 Nissan. Same basic principles are going to apply. It might be, you know, an 11 millimeter and a Phillips instead of Torx, but you know. all these applications apply.